Alright, so what's new, what's changed, and what's the same? Why don't we jump into the skins first, because all of the original skins are returning, and there's going to be 2 new extra skins, and all of those are free. They'll all be included in the base game. The physical edition is out for pre-order. I think that's on Amazon. It's $35 American for that, but that does come with all of the collector stuff that comes with it. The developers have said they'll be adding a new secret section to the game. They won't be adding any new story content, so I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. It might just be, another hidden door to another place. Maybe some content that got removed from the main game. Maybe a new secret boss, who knows. Now, they haven't just rebalanced the bosses here. They've actually come out and said that they've completely nerfed Malekith, which is a huge relief because that guy was annoying. And while we're on the subject of that, they've made adjustments to the jump mechanic. So that whole platforming section in towards Malekith, that should be a lot easier now, hopefully. Death traps can be disabled now, so it's much more in line with Part 2. Part 2 would let you disable the death traps once you were through to the other side, whereas Part 1, you would have to traverse those same traps over and over again, which really got tedious after a while. It just slowed everything down for no real reason, so now you should have, and it's an option to turn it off as well, so you can leave them on if you want to. Magic buffs. Some of these are extremely powerful. Some of them take too long to really get going. There's one that you can pop off very quickly, but you don't get that until the end of the game. The buffs themselves now will last longer. They were notoriously short, so what would happen is you would have these early summons that really just took too long to get off and didn't give you much benefit because they didn't last for very long. You'd be better off just going into your items list and boosting from out of there. So now what they've done is they've rebalanced those to a certain extent. I think what they said about Ergo was that some of his buffs have actually just been made more powerful, so they don't last as long, but they do more while they're still active. They've also done some balancing between Ergo and the Bearer, because while Ergo was great at physical combat, due to his speed and the amount of hits that he can knock off so quickly, he was made of paper. And the Bearer was exceptionally good at magic, so she could deal 480 points of damage, I think I was doing recently, with one hit, which is completely nutty for this particular game, where your average hit is 15 to 30. Now, they've describe the adjustments as not being a nerf, but greater balancing between the two so that they're much more even in terms of what they can take and how much damage they can put out. As for doing damage itself, there's much better tracking now with the auto attack, so you're not going to fly off in a completely different direction and attack a wall. You're not going to fly off and attack an enemy who's standing behind you. You're going to go straight for the person in front of you, and what that means is you can flow better from one enemy to the next. You can really telegraph attacks properly now because the patterns are improved. The enemies react differently to being hit, so there wasn't really much blowback on them before. Now you can actually knock them off their feet much easier without having to rely on guard break type attacks as much. It really does work itself out better, and in terms of actually just being able to hit the other guy in front of you without being interrupted and actually getting a chance to get those combos off at length, it works now, especially with ranged attacks that used to track and snipe you while you were in the middle of a fight. Those have been toned down a whole lot more. The boss fights that I've had early on, they are a lot less spammy. Before, they wouldn't give you much of a chance to actually get involved with the battle itself. You couldn't combo on them. You had to reduce yourself to standing at range and firing projectiles very often in this game, and that just isn't the case now. Now, they have made adjustments to the stamina gauge, but once you figure out that you don't need to actually be using the run tactic or the constant dodge tactic in order to fire off projectiles, because combos actually work now, the stamina doesn't become too much of a problem. If, however, you get very frustrated with stamina bars, it's probably going to be pissing you off a lot in the early part of the game because it's much more prevalent than it was in the original.